Hi guys, this video is brought to you by Ace the Clat, and in this video we would be talking about a very important part of our logical reasoning section of the Clat, which is syllogisms. Alright, so in this video we would be talking about the relevance of this topic, how much or how less is this topic relevant to our exam. Then obviously I would be trying to teach you some basic concepts of this topic. Later, I would take you through the types of questions that have been asked in previous examinations, specifically law entrance examinations. And not in this video, that is why I have kept a question mark over here. I would be doing the worked examples in a later video. Alright. So, the reason for that, guys, is that this video would become too long if I do so, and there are a lot of worked examples that are coming your way. So let us get straight into this video. So talking about the relevance of this topic, the relevance of our topic syllogisms, I want you to look at from a couple of perspectives. First, let us talk about numbers. ठीक है, numbers में guys, if I give you the data of the last 10 years examiner, 10 years previous questions का paper, there have been 50 questions asked on this topic. Alright, and this I'm only taking into account the ALET and the CLAT. 50 questions when I take into account only 2 of the examinations. Well, 50 questions, which means in each year's papers there have been at least 3 to 4 questions, है ना? You would say कि pattern तो बदल गया. Well, in that case as well, the sample paper released by the consortium in 2020 sample papers, there were a couple of sets here and there of this syllogism. ठीक है, there were a couple of sets here and there. मतलब a set of 3 multiplied by 2, 6 to 8 questions थे. Final examination में नहीं आया था. Nevertheless, if you want to understand the meaning of 3 or 4 questions in an examination such as CLAT, the consortium has released the All India Merit List. I would ask you to please go through it and check out the ranks between 80, the rank of 80 and the rank of someone who has scored 83, 75 से 78, जितने भी check करना कर लो. You will find कि 3 marks matters a lot more than what we think. Okay, but not just number, guys. It is helpful in other sections as well. When I talk about other sections, I say critical reasoning and reading comprehension, because syllogisms, as we will see in the subsequent slide, help us to or teaches us to follow the logic to the T. ठीक है? Again, I'm talking about logical strength. I'm not talking about the soundness of the argument. CR and RC दोनों में there is a certain type of question which is inference, and in this type of question, we are expected to derive information from a given argument. Alright, we need to determine which of the following can be inferred or can be said to be true. Not necessarily 100% true, but can be said to be true from the given argument. In that question type, syllogisms play a significant role. I will not brag about syllogisms कि ये बहुत ज़्यादा role play करता है, but yeah, it plays a significant role in that topic. So I think you would have understood the relevance of this topic, right? Let us move ahead. Now, let us talk about the concept of syllogisms. So in syllogisms, we have something known as propositions. Okay, a classic example of a syllogism is this, and a proposition is this: all cats are animals. if you see the structure of a syllogism question, there are statements A, B, and C, which say all cats are animals, some animals are plants, some birds are plants. Then there are conclusions, okay, which say that some birds are animals, some cats are birds. A point to note here is that, guys, when I say all cats are animals, it does not make sense logically, right? All cats are it does make sense, but when we look at B, some animals are plants, it does not make any sense, right? So that's a quality or characteristic of syllogisms, that we do not identify what exactly is being said. We do not do, in other words, we do not take into account the soundness of the statement, but we only look at what is being said. Okay? This statement you must read as some A are B, some A are P, some C को ऐसे पढ़ो, some B are P. ठीक है? Just don't worry about what are birds, how can some birds be plants. Okay. Before that, when we were talking about proposition, in proposition there are 3 types of proposition. Okay. The first one is categorical proposition. A classic example is this one only. All cats are animals, or in fact all the statements and conclusions present over here are categorical propositions. Okay. Some birds are animals, some cats are birds. इस तरह के propositions को categorical बोलते हैं. Other than that, there are 2 more, which is the first one is hypothetical proposition. From the word itself, we can infer that the conditions in this type of proposition would be hypothetical, or there would be certain conditions when I say like statements like if A then B are called hypothetical propositions. Okay. And finally, there is disjunctive propositions. Statements like either A or B are disjunctive propositions. Hypothetical का एक example दूँ तो यार ऐसा हो सकता है कि if the sun shines today, I will go out tomorrow. Then I will go out today. ठीक है? Propositions like these are called hypothetical propositions, and disjunctive में something as simple as like either you are a criminal or you are not a criminal. I know it is quite a stupid example, but yeah, ज़्यादा कुछ है नहीं बोलने के लिए, ठीक है? For this video, we would be specifically looking at categorical propositions. ठीक है? Propositions like these. Now, let us remove this thing. So categorical statements में, और in fact propositions को आप statements भी बोल सकते हो. Alright. Categorical propositions में there are 4 types of statements, which are 1. All A are B, which is a universal statement. 2nd. No A is B, which is again a universal statement. 3rd. Some A are B, particular वाला. And 4th, some A are not B. So these 4 are the types of propositions that we see in us categorical proposition, in the type categorical proposition. When I say all A are B, you see that it is a universal statement. Along with that, it is also positive. ठीक है? When I say all A are B, it is first a universal statement, but also a particular statement, right? Similarly, when I say no A is B, no, which is again a universal, matlab, let there be millions of A, but none of them can be B. ठीक है? The difference between 1 and 2 only is that it is a negative proposition. Third one is some A or B. Some, which is a particular word, and R, which is a particular, which is a positive, which gives a positive sense, we call such statements as particular positive. And the last one, some and are not, we call them as particular and negative propositions, right? So in this example, if you see, the statement A is universal and positive, B is particular and positive, C is particular positive, D is also particular positive, and conclusion 1 is also particular positive, and conclusion 2 is also particular positive. To talk about the parts of this proposition, guys, parts of any proposition, we have 4 parts in a proposition, right? We have something known as, the first part is all in this case, which is our quantifier. It talks about quantity, right? A जिसके बारे में बात हो रही है, in this case A जिसके बारे में बात हो रही है, this is our subject, alright. R जो पॉजिटिव है या फिर नेगेटिव है, इसे हम in literal words we call it copula, but you need not remember this. And the last but not least is B, which is called predicate, about which the subject is either denied, right, as in this case, or affirmed, as in this case. Okay, so there are 4 parts of a proposition. First one is quantifier, subject, copula, and predicate. I hope this is clear. So in the last slide, we covered the 4 types of categorical propositions, right? Now we would look at the interpretation of each of those categorical propositions. Let us start with our first type, which was all A or B, or let us say all animals are, or all humans are mammals. To interpret it, we can do it in 2 ways, right? In a couple of ways. First, we can say that all humans are mammals. A simple Venn diagram can be made over here. But other than that as well, we can also say that humans and mammals, they are collinear sets, right? Which means all mammals are humans and all humans are mammals. This 2 things we can interpret from this proposition. Okay. Acha, can we do this, that all mammals are humans? No. When we say all humans are mammals, we have to ensure that each part of the human Venn diagram, each part of that is either located inside the mammals or on the mammals, right? In this case, all humans are inside the mammals का वाला set, right? And in this case, it is on, मतलब humans and mammals का set equal है, right? Okay. We will also look at the converse statements of each of the propositions, right? Okay. For example, when we say all humans or all A are B, the converse or the inference that we can derive from that statement is that some B are A. When I say some B, I mean some का मतलब at least one होता है. Okay. In the two diagrams that we saw, all A are B and A equal to B, we saw that at least one part of B is inside or intersects with A, right? In this case also, at least one part of B intersects with A. That is why the converse of our proposition, all A are B, would be some B are A. This was the first one. The second proposition, which was no A is B, or let's say no boy is a girl, both these sets would be completely disjoint, or we will call them as disjoint sets, right? No part of B or boys will intersect with girls, and vice versa, no part of girls would intersect with boys. Okay. No A is B. Converse क्या हो जाएगा सोचो? That no girls are boys, right? When we say no A is B, the converse of it would be that no B is A, because in no case or in no possibility can any part of B lie with A. Okay. The third one is some B or some A are B. Let's say some mammals are humans. Okay. From this statement, there arises a couple of possibilities as well. First one is this: some A or B का सीधा साधा मतलब ये हुआ guys, that at least one part of A must lie inside or must lie with B, मतलब must intersect with B. In this case is possible, right? Another thing can be some A are B. In this case as well, mammals humans को हटाते हैं, अभी A B पे ही बात करते हैं. In this case as well, at least one part of A either lies with B or intersects with B, right? Lies within B or intersects with B. The third case may be that all B are A. In this case as well, some A, this part guys, lies or intersects between A and B, right? So this part is this Venn diagram is also possible. To sum up, some A or B, to find the converse of this statement, from these three diagrams, these are the three possibilities, and from these three diagrams we can say that at least, ये तो बोल ही सकते हैं that at least one part of A intersects with B, and when we say this, it is quite obvious that some part of B will also intersect with A, right? And the last one is some A are not B. Let's say that some some women are not mothers. This statement means that at least one part of A must not intersect with B, because ये particular negative है, right? At least one part of A must not intersect with B. In this case, we can say that some A are not B. This can be possible, that no part of A can be B. ठीक है? ये मत देखो कि all some women mothers, इसे नहीं, इसे भूल जाओ अभी के लिए, because we are only trying to interpret what exactly it means and how can no mother be women is not our point of discussion over here. As I've already said, think of syllogisms as, or think of the subjects and predicates of syllogisms as it is. उन्हें short forms में convert कर दो, right? Some A or not B, this can be possible, right? Next diagram can be some A or not B. This can also be possible because at least one part of A is not intersecting with B. Here also, at least one part of A is not intersecting with B. Third one is all B are A. When B is a subset of A, we can infer from here as well that one part of A does not intersect with B. Right? Can we say this all A are B? No, because in this case, no part of A, we can find no part of A that does not intersect with B. Similarly, A equal to B wale case may be, we cannot say that. Okay. So these are the three possibilities, and interestingly, we can find no converse statement from here, because let's check from here that no B is A is first one is some B are A, right? Some B are A इसमें possible है, at least one B is A, मतलब some B are A इसमें भी possible है, but not over here, right? So ये infer नहीं कर सकते. No B is A is also present in only one case, right? Not here, neither here nor here. So no converse statement can be made out of this proposition. Okay. Other than this, guys, there's also fifth proposition, or which says only A are B. Now in this one, only A are B, it is something like, to give an example, I would say that only men are brothers. This means that brothers is dependent on men, matlab B is dependent on A, but it is not the case vice versa. A is not dependent on B. इसका subset कैसा बनेगा? इसका Venn diagram कैसा बनेगा? I'm sorry. Think about it. It would be like brother is inside and man is outside. Right? Only men are brothers. If you take the example from real life as well, we cannot say that all men are brothers. Right? All men need not be brothers, right? But does it mean कि all brothers need to be men? Yes. है ना? To another example can be only women are mothers. From that we can say कि all mothers are women, but we cannot say that all women are mothers, right? Some part of women need not be mothers. From here it is possible, I am not denying that fact. When I say only A are B, it is possible that A is equal to B. Okay, but it need not be true. Okay. So when we say only A are B, we mean all B are A. जैसे कि यहाँ पे only men are brothers से we say ना कि all brothers are men. Similarly, only A or B say we can conversely say that all B are A. Okay. Okay, now that we have explored the interpretation of the various propositions, let us now look at some rules that are associated with syllogisms. All right. And in this video, we would specifically talk about categorical propositions. The rules about categorical propositions. Before that, guys, I want to tell you something, which is, let us take an example like sum A are B and all A are C. Let's say sum B are A and all A are C. So if I tell you to draw inferences from this statement, from these two statements, you can do 3 or 4 things, right? First thing you can do is to infer from the first statement itself. Like from here, you can say, right, sum A are B. We learnt in the in the converse statements, right? From here, we can say that sum C are A, or at least one part of C belongs to or intersects with A, right? Now these two inferences are derived from their parent proposition only. What I'm saying is that this inference was not derived from this statement, right? इस statement की जरूरत नहीं थी इस inference को derive करने में. Similarly, for this inference, we do not need this statement, right? So statements or inferences that are derived from their parent proposition only or from one statement only are called immediate inferences, right? And an inference like sum B R C, we can derive this from these two statements, right? Let's say sum B are A and all A are C, then at least one part of B intersects with C, which means we can say sum B are C. Okay. Now for these kinds of inferences, the name is combined inferences, in which we take 2 or more types of statements and derive it from there. Okay. In this slide, the rules that I'm going to talk about are for combined inferences. Okay. Let me clear this. The first rule that we need to talk about is that from 2 universal propositions, the inference that we can draw must be either particular or universal. Okay. For example, when I say all A are B, a universal proposition, है ना? Words all and no are universal quantifiers, right? And whereas some, let the passers-by pass, whereas some is a particular quantifier, right? So let us say all A are B and no B is C. From here, we can only derive, let me draw the Venn diagram. We can only derive either a universal or a particular inference. A universal inference would be that no A is C, right? And a particular inference may be, well, in this case, we might not have a particular inference. Okay, so that was the point, guys. Either we have a particular inference or we have a universal inference. We can also have both the inference, right? Yeah, so that's there. Now when we have a combination of a universal and particular, we can only draw particular inferences. Okay, let's say all humans are mammals. All humans are mammals, and a particular में ले लेते हैं some mammals are, let's say Mm, uh, some mammals are elephants. Now from this, if you draw the Venn diagram, all humans are mammals, some mammals are elephants. From here we can not draw a universal inference. Alright, from here we cannot draw a universal inference. Okay, we can say that some mammals are elephants. You got my point, right? From a universal and a particular proposition, we can draw only must be particular inferences. And finally, when we have two particular propositions, no inference can be drawn for those two. You understood what I meant by combined inference, right? When I say all A are B, all B are C, combined inference would be that which we use the middle term, or in this case B act as a broker between A and C, right? From these two statements, first we link A with B, then we link B with C, and then we try to determine the relationship between A and C. That is what combined inferences are, right? Okay. So these three are the rules. Other than this, from two positive statements, an inference can be only positive. Okay. You can verify it. Alright. From two negative statements, the inference or the conclusion, by inference I'm meaning conclusion, alright. From a positive and a negative inference, the inference can be only negative, and from two negative propositions we cannot have any inference. This case is like this one. दो पर्टिकुलर से कोई इन्फ्रेंस नहीं निकल सकता या कंक्लूजन नहीं निकल सकता, दो नेगेटिव स्टेटमेंट से भी कोई कंक्लूजन नहीं निकल सकता. These are the rules that we have talked about. Now we will move to types of questions that have been asked in our examination. Alright. Till now in this video we have talked about a couple of things. First, I talked about the relevance of this topic in our examination, and second we talked about the concept of syllogisms, in which we specifically looked at categorical syllogisms and उसके हमने interpretations and rules भी देखे, right? We would, in this part of this video, we would talk about the types of questions that have been asked in various law entrance examinations. So guys, these questions, we have got 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 5. I think 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. We have got 5 questions in here, and these questions basically are previous year questions from the CLAT and the ALET, and pretty much all the types of questions that have been asked is covered in these 5 questions. So on your screen is the first type of question, which is a pretty basic one. It says it has 2 statements followed by 2 conclusions, and options would be either one is valid, B would say second is valid or not, C would say both, and D would say neither. So we have to find out from these 2 statements, is one valid, or is only one valid, is only 2 valid, are both of these valid, or neither of these are valid. Okay, let us solve this question. Let it be here. Yeah. The first statement is some vehicles are cars. Okay, this is our Venn diagram. The second statement is some bikes are car. This would be our second statement का Venn diagram. So our first conclusion is some bike is a vehicle. Now, as we have already seen in one of the rules, that from two particular statements, for a combined inference, we cannot draw any inference or any conclusion from two particular statements. This is a particular statement. This is also a particular statement, right? And when we say some bike is a vehicle, in this Venn diagram, it is not possible or it is not true that some bikes are vehicles, right? So conclusion 1 is not valid. In other Venn diagrams, such as this one, some bike would be valid. Some bike would be vehicle, right? But we cannot conclude this because it is not the case with each and every Venn diagram. Okay, so that is why conclusion 1 is not valid. Conclusion 2, if you look at this, it is an immediate inference from statement 2, right? The first one says ki some bikes are cars and second one says some bike is not a car. Well, this cannot be true because when we say some bikes are cars, we can never infer ki some bikes are not cars. This is quite obvious, right? So that is why in this question our answer would be D. Let us move ahead. This question, this is an extension of this type of question. It has 3 statements, 2 conclusions, and option A बोल रहा है only 1 follows, B बोल रहा है only 2 follows, C बोल रहा है both 1 and 2 follow, D बोल रहा है neither follow. Let us make the Venn diagram and check out which of the option is correct. All cats are animals. Fair enough. Some animals are plants. Now if you ask me कि मैं यहाँ पे put करूँ plants को कि मैं ऐसे put करूँ, normally we put it over here only. Okay. All cats are animals. Some animals are plants. This satisfies it. So, because we are trying to make our Venn diagram less complex. Alright. So this would be the least possible complex way of drawing our Venn diagram. C says some birds are plants. This is it. Some birds are plants. And our conclusions are, first, some birds are animals. Again, from if you see this, some birds are animals. इसे ध्यान से देखो, ये इस दोनों statements को लेके बना है, right? Some animals are plants and some birds are plants, where plants is the middle term, and these two again are particular statements or particular propositions, and we know that from two particular propositions we cannot infer any kind of inference or conclusion. So only one does not follow. When one does not follow, these two are gone. है Second one says some cats are birds. Again, a similar problem over here. All cats are animals, some cats are birds. B says, or conclusion 2 says, some cats are birds. This is also not a valid conclusion, because when we talk about conclusion, we want to select that option which follows in 100% of the cases. This does not follow, some cats are birds, this does not follow in this case, right? Right, birds यहाँ पे हैं, cat यहाँ पे है. This also does not follow, which means only 2 also does not follow, and D is the correct answer over here. Next question. This is a different type of question. It says, there is no man that is not naturally good. is equivalent to the proposition. ठीक है, ये क्या बोलना चाह रहा है? What is the equivalent of this proposition, or what is the converse of this proposition? Alright, so if we look at this, there is no man that is not naturally good. Man and naturally good are our subjects and predicates respectively. There is no man that is not naturally good. No man, which is a negative one, and दो नेगेटिव होने पे वी गेट अ पॉजिटिव स्टेटमेंट, राइट. मैं इन्फ्रेंस की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. दो नेगेटिव वर्ड्स होने पे वी गेट अ पॉजिटिव स्टेटमेंट. ओके, नो मैन नॉट नेचुरली गुड. थिंक अबाउट दिस, दैट एवरी मैन इज नेचुरली गुड, राइट. दिस वॉज one case. Another case, you may think, when we look at option A, that some men are naturally good. This statement is not equivalent to our proposition, because in this case at least one man exists which is not naturally good, and we do not want that. We want that no man should exist who is not naturally good, which means all men should be naturally good, which makes our option B as the correct option. No men are good, सवाल ही नहीं है. Some men are not naturally good, सवाल ही नहीं है. Next question. So this type of question has 5 statements A, B, C, D and E, and we have to select that particular choice in which the third statement is a valid conclusion from the previous 2 statements. ठीक है? When we talk about A, B and E, we need to first take this statement, then we need to take this statement, yani B, and then we have to identify whether E is a valid conclusion drawn from the other 2 statements or not. And the option which does so would be our correct option. ठीक है? Option A says A, B and E. So MBAs are in great demand. MBAs are in great demand. Guys, a Venn diagram is really for me it is the most reliable way for doing so, and for most of you it would be the most reliable way of doing so. But if you are not comfortable with this, you can also go by the rules method. ठीक है? Okay. MBA are in good demand. Samrat and Akshita are in great demand. And E says Samrat and Akshita are MBAs. Well, if I place Samrat and Akshita over inside MBA, then I can conclude this. But when I say that they are outside MBA, because all MBAs are in great demand, does not mean that all those who are in great demand are MBAs, right? If I place them over here, E would fall down. Conclusion E would fall down. And conclusion means that particular statement which stands straight in each of the possibilities. Okay, that is why A is not the correct option. B says E, C and D. Okay, Samrita and Akshat are MBAs. Fair enough. Samrita, Akshat, they are MBAs. C says Samrat is in great demand. Okay, Samrat is in great demand. For the simplicity of the Venn diagram, we have taken the great demand out of the MBA. ठीक है? Out of the Venn diagram of MBA. And D says Akshita is in great demand. Well, that is not. Samrat and Akshita मैं एक क्यों लिख रहा हूँ बार-बार? Samrat and Akshita. Right? And that is not possible, or that is not true in this case, right? We have Samrat in great demand, but we do not have to have Akshita in great demand as well. So B is also incorrect. C says A, E and B. Okay. MBAs again are in great demand. That's good. E says Samrat and Akshita are MBAs. Okay. Samrat and Akshita are MBAs, which means they are inside MBAs. And and B says Samrat and Akshita are in great demand. So this is the correct option, right? We have Samrat and Akshita inside MBA, which is further inside great demand, which means this is the correct option. Let us look at why D is not the correct option. Samrat and Akshita are MBAs, which means this one. This Venn diagram, B says Samrat and Akshita are in great demand. A says MBAs are in great demand. Well, some MBAs are in great demand, but not all MBAs are in great demand. And a very important point over here is that when the quantifier is not present, okay, we consider it to be all. This may be confusing for some, option D, but to clarify, when the quantifier is not present, we say that all dash is R in dash. Okay? For example, when we say something like schools are important for children, we mean that all schools are important for children. Okay? I hope this is clear. Option C is correct and option D is not correct. This is our final question, I think. Yeah? Yes. In this question, we have two persons. Ram says something, Shyam says something, and the question is, which of the following, if true, would make Shyam's reply most convincing? Okay? Shyam has said that this particular statement is not correct, and we need to identify that particular option which is most convincing reply for Shyam. Okay? Or which would make Shyam's reply most convincing. Ram says all communists are atheists. All communists are atheists. Okay. And we have to prove that this statement is not true. Think about it. What all things can we think of which will make this Venn diagram untrue or invalid? Okay? In this statement, all communists or each part of the communist is inside the Venn diagram of atheists. Now, if we identify someone who is not an atheist but a communist, our job would be done, right? Right. Someone who is outside the Venn diagram of atheist but inside communist would be our correct option. Okay. Let us look at the options. A says, my uncle is an atheist but he is not a communist. Okay. Not a communist. Which means this, but an atheist. मतलब uncle यहाँ पे है, right? He is an atheist but not a communist. Is this something which would make Shyam's reply convincing? No. Okay. B says, my uncle is a communist but he is not an atheist. Okay. We have our correct option, right? मतलब uncle यहाँ पे है, right? So this is our correct option. Let us look what C and D have to offer. C says my uncle is an atheist and a communist. Okay, मतलब यहाँ पे कहीं से भी आंसर नहीं हो सकता ये, right? And D says my uncle is neither an atheist nor a communist. मतलब यहाँ पे कुछ भी नहीं है. We have to only prove that all communists are not atheists. ठीक है? ध्यान से समझना. We have to only prove that all communists are not atheists. And how would we do that? You would find a person who is a communist but not an atheist. ठीक है? This would make his reply convincing. ठीक है? थोड़ा सा. But we would, that is why यहाँ पे most convincing लिखा है यार, right? Which one would be most valid? Okay. So that is why B would be correct option or our correct option and D would not. So thank you guys for being with me in this video. If you found this video informational, please consider subscribing to our channel Ace the Clat and liking this video. Bye.